Welcome to SHA, the Sound Healers Association, founded by Jonathan Goldman in 1982, bringing education and awareness of the use of sound and music for healing and transformation. SHA features presentations by founding pioneers in the modern sound healing field, and we have a sound healing directory allowing you to list your work or find practitioners and teachers. There's a monthly online meeting, a blog, a vast resource of articles, and much more. SHA, the Sound Healers Association, is dedicated to bringing harmony to the world of sound.
Okay, here we go, and we're jumping in now. And again, I'm Steve Farrell with Humanities Team. I'm here in Boulder, Colorado. I live near my dear friend Jonathan Goldman and his wife Andi, and it's my pleasure to be here just to introduce Jonathan and Andi as this program starts. So, and of course, this is a Sound Satsang, and it's a monthly program now that Humanities Team is really grateful to be producing each and every month with Jonathan and Andi. So thanks for being with us. I think you're going to have a fantastic time. Let me just want to read a brief introduction here as we get started. So Jonathan and Andi Goldman are a powerful pair in the world of conscious living and sound healing. Jonathan is an internationally recognized authority, pioneer, and author in sound healing. Andi is a licensed psychotherapist who utilizes holistic treatment and sound healing. Both are highly respected leaders in the sound healing and spiritual music community. Andi and Jonathan have co-written 2 books together, Chakra Frequencies and The Humming Effect. And again, I'll just share, when we came out a moment ago, Jonathan and I were sharing that sound healing is really taking off as it should, because it is, as we're creating conscious living in the world, sound healing is a big role. It's an incredibly useful device. And you're looking at the man here, Jonathan Goldman, who got this whole thing started, was called to it at an early age, and hooray, thank God he was, because look where sound healing is today. And my pleasure, Jonathan, to turn this over to you.
Hello and welcome. Hi, it takes a minute to hit the unmute button or whatnot, but I am Jonathan Goldman, and welcome.
And I'm Andi Goldman, and welcome to everyone. We are delighted to be here. And Steve, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And we just want to take a moment to welcome everyone. And if you are here for the first time, we are absolutely delighted. And if you are joining us, and you have for many of our Sound Satsangs, we are equally as delighted. We welcome everyone.
And for those of you who, I will repeat this always ad infinitum, because what is a satsang? Well, satsang is a gathering. It's a discourse. It's so many things because it is a Sanskrit word, and they're multidimensional, multi-meanings. But for us, it's a group of people that gather together to work with sound, and we do it for personal and planetary healing. So we're so delighted to be sharing with you again, and we give thanks.
And I'd like to just give an overview of what we're going to be covering tonight. So for our main topic tonight, we're really excited because we are going to be focusing and sharing with you and introducing you to the angel of sacred sound.
The angel of sacred
the angel
sound.
of sacred sound. And we have a beautiful invocation, a prayer to call in this angelic being that we are going to be sharing. Also, it's going to be in a video that Jonathan created so that you can integrate that invocation if you so desire. After that, we will have a brief overview of what's happening in the heavens.
An astrological assessment.
And a brief astrological assessment. There's always so much happening energetically, and I love to connect it with the planets and the stars, if you will. And lastly, we will be doing our guided global sound healing meditation for personal and planetary healing. So we have got a whole lot to do tonight. So I would say let's just jump right in, Jonathan.
Jump right in, and we will
Yeah.
talk about the angel of sacred sound. Why the angel of sacred sound? So here's a total transparency
Well,
level. Yes.
the angel of sacred sound, and we're going to be sharing the invocation, but Jonathan and I literally invoke Shamael, the angel of sacred sound, every single day. And whether we are before our meditation in the morning, setting the tone for our day, before we do any kind of teaching or interview or whatever, we are always sharing the invocation to Shamael. And so it was interesting because I don't know, recently, a while ago, but not too long ago, we were saying the invocation right before one of our satsangs. And afterwards, we just had this hit. Why don't we dedicate an entire satsang to sharing and introducing our community to Shamael, the angel of sacred sound?
Indeed.
And I'd like to, Jonathan, if it's okay, I'd like to go ahead and do our invocation right now.
I just got the hit to begin it just with a little sound effect, and then do it in the plural.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
So here we go. And see if you can feel any sort of transmission of energy, because we always do. You ready?
We invoke the spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. May the sound of light surround us. May the light of sound guide us. May sacred sound come through us for the harmony of all. And it's interesting. We're going to be focusing a lot more on that invocation, but it's interesting because as we know, there's a great deal of interest in angels. I know for myself, I have been working with angels practically my whole life. And there's also a big interest in sound. And so why not share the angel of sacred sound? And anyway, many, many years ago, Jonathan, I think it was you were in your late 40s, perhaps. But
yikes!
Jonathan,
it might have been my 42nd birthday. Yikes!
Or your early 40s. But anyway, Jonathan has a great story to tell us how Shamael actually came into his life, and then he was able to introduce it to my life and to hundreds, literally thousands of people since that time. But it was a while ago. Why don't you share that?
So it was my birthday, and I believe it was my 42nd birthday. And I was sitting in a crystal grid. A crystal grid is a geometric formation with very large crystals. Each of them was about yo big, and it was in a hexagonal formation, if you like, a Star of David configuration, if you like, which is one of the more powerful configurations. You can put quartz crystals in because they are hexagonal by their nature as well. I had these speakers pumping out this powerful music that I had created, and these lights are flashing back and forth, and it was literally creating a really, really powerful interdimensional grid, which is what I like. And so I was sitting there in a really deep state of meditation, with my eyes closed. All of a sudden, I became aware of a being of Jupiter blue, violet, and gold. Those were the colors that I saw. This being basically informed me that it was Shamael, the angel of sacred sound, and that I was told, given an assignment, that I was to be a conduit for this angelic form. And I agreed. Then a little bit later, I got back into my body, and I was literally in a state of awe because it was a fairly intense assignment. It was a really powerful, powerful experience, maybe one of the most powerful in my life. And I was also in a state of bewilderment because I've had communications with beings from other dimensional levels before, if you like, and I always look for 3D, third dimensional validation of this stuff. I think that sometimes there are cosmic jokesters that pretend that there are all sorts of different things. They tell you stuff that is perhaps not particularly true. So I look for 3D validation. So for the next week or so, I remember I was in a state of awe and bewilderment and just being of uncertainty. And then a friend of mine, well, at the time he was a stranger. We call him Big Jim because he's a 6'10" that being, possibly from the Pleiades. He's a real person. We've been friends for well over golly
Well,
gee,
since that day.
Since that day, yeah.
Yeah.
So 30 plus years. And he had with him a book. He gave it to me as a birthday gift because somehow he knew it was my birthday. And the book was called A Dictionary of Angels by a man named Gustav Davidson. And it was nothing more or less than basically exactly what it said, a dictionary of angels from the different Western and magical traditions from A to Z. And it was yo thick and it had angels of every sort. So the first thing I looked up was angel sound. And there was nothing. And quite frankly, I breathed a sigh of relief because I thought, great, now I don't have to do anything. And then I said, all right, let me see what happens. And I went to the S section and I looked up Shamael. And there it was. And it said, Master of Heavenly Song, Divine Herald, another name for Metatron. And I was taken back and I went, whoa, okay, this is real. Where do I go from here? Now, for those of you into Kabbalah or into angels, I will acknowledge that I was really doubtful about Shamael simply because in terms of the archangels, which this being is, I had never heard of Shamael. I knew of Michael and Raphael and Oriel and these different angels. And in fact, for those into Kabbalah, which is Western mysticism, there's a form called the Tree of Life. And each of the, if you like, spheres of the Tree of Life have a different archangel. There at the top of the tree is a being called Metatron. And Metatron is a Greek word. All the other names of the angels are Hebrew. Michael, Raphael, but Metatron is a Greek word meaning above the throne. And as I began to investigate this, I found out that, oh my goodness gracious, supposedly the true name of Metatron was lost. And I thought, perhaps, it was lost to those who, could not find it. Perhaps it was Shamael, which translates as a name into Hebrew as either sound of God or voice of God. So I've written about the angel sound, Shamael, and many of the different books that I've written because I think it's such an important being. And really on a level, if you think about it, angels are said to be, if you like, helpers of the divine, particularly the archangels. So if the original, in the beginning was the word, perhaps there was angelic help creating that vibrational essence that manifested everything. Perhaps there was a sound, the voice, the angel of sound that assisted this. So we share this with you first to begin the, awareness.
Well, and Jonathan actually created a wonderful recording of the Angel of Sound with the invocation. And that's what we're going to be hearing in just a short while when we see the video. But I have to say that, Jonathan, the recording, the Angel of Sound, when I first met Jonathan, he gifted me with this cassette, back in those days, it was before CDs even. And so I had this cassette of the Angel of Sound. And I listened to it literally every day because it really touched my heart. And it really gave me a sense of really connecting with Shamael. And I really wanted to just mention that. And you might want to talk about the actual creating of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, on a level, this recording is not per se music. Well, you know, a lot of times I create sonic environments, create the field of sound. And this particularly is a recording designed as a spiritual initiation. And in fact, we would play this at our Healing Sounds Intensive. And once again, the Healing Sounds Intensive, what an incredible 21 years we did it. And for about 10 days, throughout the day, we would go through different activations, initiations, and the experience of having 100 people on the ground listening to these sounds, going through it. And for many of them, it was among the most powerful activations of the entire intensive that they had. So very, very cool. Appreciate that one.
Yeah, and we would also begin each of the intensives with the calling response, with the invocation to Shamael. So Shamael has touched a lot of people, and so we're wanting it to be brought into our Sound Satsang community.
It is time to bring, you know, once again, folks at the intensive certainly got it now. We're sharing the energy of Shamael, and the angel sound recording. I remember when I created it, I did it with this wonderful doctor working as an engineer by the name of James Wick, and I had all sorts of sounds on it, from Native American flutes to Tibetan chanting to Mideastern drumming and harmonic singing, all this stuff. And it's a very cool journey through sacred sound. But Dr. Rick left his town for a while, and when he came back, I had received this invocation to put it on the recording in different portions. And I remember he said to me, hey, he said, before I left, it was incomplete, and now it is whole. And so that is what we're going to present simply to you. Little excerpts, a 4-minute excerpt of about a half-hour long initiatory piece, but the 4-minute excerpt has, for the most part, the Angel of Sacred Sound invocation, which is very powerful.
And you know, Jonathan, there are so many angelic sounds. And, you know, when I think of the different aspects of the angels, and, you know, I myself play the harp, and I think of the harp music is just absolutely every note is just like the angels are singing to us. And you know, you can hear the angel voices in a children's choir.
That's probably in the West, perhaps the predominant sound that people relate to as being the sound of angels. I remember, you know, as we were doing these Sound Satsangs, we put some energy in, and what do other people think? And certainly here in the West, the whole choral voices, you know, children's choir is one that a lot of people perceive of as being the sound of angels, although I'm going to suggest that this may be the result of classical music, Handel's Messiah, and that sort of thing that utilize this, and then we've become ingrained into believing that that's the sound of the angels, because in a lot of the sacred texts, the Old Testament or the Quran or whatnot, the angels were said to sound like thunder.
And Jonathan, that's so interesting, because when I was a young girl and it would thunder, my mother would say, oh, don't worry, it's just the angels moving furniture. And I always remember that when I hear thunder, that's what I think about. And, you know, and two, I think that the different cultures that people, you know, the cultural context makes a difference in terms of what sounds
in a big
are
way
angelic to different people.
You know, in the Far East or in the Mideast or wherever you're going, you know, in the Hindu tradition, Tibetan tradition, I don't think they have angels, they have devas, but there's probably a real strong connection between the two of them. We were watching some stuff from Africa last night and go, okay, so I'm sure that there are angelic energies in Africa that have a different name and a different type of sound. So indeed, cultural, depending upon where the people are and who's listening and their musical tastes and styles, so when you listen to even this aspect of the angel sound, it was what came through just simply me. And I acknowledge that.
Well, and gratefully so, because it's quite powerful. And, let's talk about, Jonathan, let's talk about the purpose of working with Shamael, the purpose of working with this invocation, this prayer. I know I had mentioned earlier that Jonathan and I literally utilize this invocation every single day. It's just part of our lives, because what happens for myself when I say this invocation, I just feel like I am calling in the angelic realms and Shamael in particular. So it's something that we can really actually use, and it's great to encode sacred space, bringing in sacred sounds, sacred light, harmonious energy. That's what I love. It brings in harmonious energy. And it's also really helpful for protection and for guidance. And it's just multi-layered in terms of the benefits and the purposes that it can actually be used for. And I know that when you hear this, and if you're so inclined and you decide to incorporate it into your practice, you'll think of other reasons and other purposes to use this invocation for. But I really like the fact too that it's very good for grounding. And I like that.
Well, it's interesting because before this invocation came to me, and I'd be teaching people about using sound as a healing modality and projecting sacred sound, whether usually it was the voice, but it could be anything from tuning forks to bowls to bells, etc. I would always teach certain, fundamental principles of how to do that, including grounding, protection, guidance, etc. And within the Shamael invocation are encoded all these different things. And in fact, is it time to go over it, my dear?
Yes, let's go over it line by line so we can really share the meaning behind it all.
Shall we say it first, or should we do it?
Let's say it first.
Okay. So first we're going to do it singularly, and then we're going to do it plurally. Catch this.
So
you say it once and I will repeat that. Okay.
I invoke the spirit of Shamael.
I invoke the spirit of Shamael.
Angel of sacred sound.
Angel of sacred sound.
May the sound of light surround us.
May the sound of light surround me.
May the light of sound guide me.
May the light of sound guide me.
May sacred sound come through me.
May sacred sound come through me.
For the harmony of all.
For the harmony of all. And now we're going to do it plural together so you can see what this is like.
Okay. We invoke
the spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. May the sound of light surround us. May the light of sound guide us. May sacred sound come through us for the harmony of all. Now, breaking the sound. Okay. Do you want to begin?
You go ahead.
Okay. To begin, I invoke the spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. Well, this is so important because you're defining who or what energy form you're invoking. And from my perspective, it's necessary to do that. If you bring in energy, you want to be very clear who or what this energy is.
The next line is, may the sound of light surround me. And what that means is like we are calling in the light. We are calling in the divine guidance, the divine light of the angelic realm, bringing it and shining that light on us for whatever we are getting ready to do.
I like to say that sometimes I visualize or feel a bubble of protection with that, that whole aspect, maybe the sound of light surround me.
And the next line is, may the light of sound guide me. And so this light that has come is guiding us so that we can be in a healing energy field, that we can be guided in love and light through the angelic realm and through Shamael. And the last line?
Well, two of them.
You go ahead.
May sacred sound come through me. And this is so very, very important because a lot of times, particularly when we're dealing with any sort of energy healing or sound or whatnot, sometimes people become very enamored with the power that they have, and they forget that they are simply a conduit of this energy. And sometimes I think the energy is coming from them. It isn't. And this is seriously important that we realize that the energy is coming through us.
Through me, because that gives us that direction to get out of the way and let that sound come through me, not from me. And of course, the last line, for the harmony of all. And that's the ultimate reason to use.
The intention, not for you or me, but for all beings, for what is good, for the highest good for all. And that is our sort of breakdown of and believe it or not, it was a couple of years before I literally analyzed this invocation to see what it was, really encoding and why. And so we wanted to share that with you. And now it's about 4 minutes long. And this is once again from different parts of the angel sound recording. I have the pleasure oftentimes of creating new material for these Sound Satsang. So this is new material. This is the angel of sacred sound invocation. And if you like, watch it. I trust the visuals will be cool. It'll also have, literally, I figured out how to have the words of the invocation coming through while you're watching it. And I trust it'll be a powerful, deeply resonant experience for all of you. Russell, sir, we are ready.
I invoke the spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. May the sound of light surround me. May the light of sound guide me. May sacred sound come through me for the harmony of all. I invoke the spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. May the sound of light surround me. May the light of sound guide me. May sacred sound come through me for the harmony of all. I invoke the spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. May the sound of light surround me. May the light of sound guide me. May sacred sound come through me for the harmony of all. The spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. May the sound of light surround me. May the light of sound guide me. May sacred sound the spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. May the sound of light surround me. May the light of sound guide me. May sacred sound come through me for the harmony of all. invoke the spirit of Shama-El, angel sacred sound. May the sound of light surround me. May the light of sound guide me. May sacred sound come through me to the harmony of all. I invoke the spirit of Shama-El, angel sacred sound. May the sound of light surround me. May the light of sound guide me. May sacred sound come through me to the harmony of all. I invoke the spirit of Shama-El, angel sacred sound.
I hope you all enjoyed that as much as we did. I want to explain for just a moment. I realize that there's a chant going on there that in the background, Ehiye Shama-El. And Ehiye is a biblical word, and it's literally, you all may know that Moses, when he encounters the burning bush, says, who are you? And the first thing the burning bush says, Ehiye Asher Ehiye, I am or will be what I am. And this one is, I am or will be the angel of sound, Shama-El, the energy of sound. So it sort of is, if you like, implied the energy of the angel of sound being there when we need it. Anyway, I thank you so much for being part of that experience, and we trust that it resonated with you. Now, for a little more cosmic work, it's time to go to the astrological realms.
The astrological realms, and I am delighted to share the astrological realms after we have Shama-El, part of our satsang tonight. So Shama-El is here. So I want to start out by saying that astrologically speaking, May is actually a bit of a quieter month energetically in comparison to the intensity of last month, April, and really the intensity of these last several months. And so it's almost like we're getting a little bit of a reprieve here this month of May. And it's got an energy of a feel good month. And a lot of that is because of Jupiter is very active this month, and Jupiter is the great benefic, and I'm going to talk more about Jupiter in a moment. But I do want to mention too that Mercury went direct, which is always great to help us move forward and gives us that freedom to keep moving. And there's only, let's see, there's only one planet that is retrograde this month. And that is a big plus, because when the planets are retrograde, we kind of feel like we're backed up. But now there's only one. And so there's this movement forward, which I hope that people are feeling. And also this month we have 5 planets in the sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign, which brings in stability and strength. And so we've got some real good, positive energies happening. And I want to talk about the influence of Jupiter this month, because it's very unusual to have so much Jupiter energy in one month. And we have it highlighted literally throughout the month. And it is the great benefic, as I mentioned. And so there's a lot of positive energy. There are doors that are opening. Jupiter is expansive. It brings in abundance. It's optimistic. It is positive in nature. So you can kind of see where Jupiter is really helping us out this month to kind of let us breathe out from the intensity of the past months. And there's more Jupiter to come that I'm going to talk about in a moment. But I want to mention also that we have the planet Mars is in its own sign of Aries. And this is dynamic energy. It's assertive, it gets us going, and it can be impulsive and it can be impatient. So you want to kind of watch that. But overall, it just feels like there's a freshness to life. I'm just happy about that. And also Venus is in its own sign of Taurus. And so this opens up the door for relationships and for connections in positive ways. So we've got lots of good stuff happening. And there's more. And there's more. Because I want to talk about, we did have a new moon, of course, May 7th in the sign of Taurus. But in just a couple of days, we will have a full moon in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, Jupiter in Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So once again, we have that theme of positive energy. And of course, the expansiveness of Jupiter. And with the moon there, this is the last full moon, really, before of springtime, because now what we want to do is try to connect with our higher aspirations ahead of summer. And so that Sagittarius new moon is great for that. And it does encourage us to, wait, I need to put my glasses on. I'm trying to see my notes here. It is moon in Sag bursts with abundance and a sense of adventure with free-spirited Sagittarius. And I can say that because Jonathan is a Sagittarius. But it's all about optimism, deeper understanding, and Sagittarius is most linked with joy. So what a great energy for this full moon to really begin to usher us into summer, because that's what it is doing. And there's more.
No more.
There's more good stuff coming, because along with that full moon in Sagittarius, we have got Venus conjunct Jupiter. We have got the two most positive planets in alignment with each other. And so when those two planets come together, there is just many blessings that will happen. And so we have got a month of May that I hope everyone will take advantage of the positive energies and really, you know, as much intensity as we've been feeling lately, really to begin to shift our focus into the positive energies of Jupiter, Venus, Sagittarius, and let us enjoy this month of May, astrologically speaking.
There have been some powerful astronomical, is that the word?
Well, we've had, at the beginning of the month, we had an abundance, there's Jupiter, but we had an abundance of solar flares, you know, hitting our planet more so than we have had
really powerful
in a long time. And Jonathan, didn't you read something where the last time we had this many solar flares?
I mean, there have been times where in the 1800s, flares of this magnitude actually wiped out a lot of the telegraph lines. So, wow, it's crazy in terms of the fact that somehow our satellite communication has continued to work as properly. Give thanks. Perhaps that is a really positive benefit of Jupiter or whomever, you know, because that didn't really happen. But what a blessing.
Yeah, but with all those solar flares, I know you may have felt a little fatigued and maybe had trouble sleeping or whatever. I know that has happened to me. And then when I found out about the solar flares, it really gave me a little sense of relief to go, okay, this is not going to last.
And there's so much stuff we can cover. Just one little thing before we get into our our global guided meditation, which is coming up, which is one of our major purposes for doing the satsang. The Angel of Sound recording is actually by itself available, and you can find it on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, all these different places. And it's actually also available on a CD, a composite CD called The Angel and the Goddess. And I will suggest that it is a half-hour long, really interdimensional, powerful, powerful experience. So it's not, if you like, gentle ambient background music. It takes you somewhere. So be foretold that it's something powerful.
So let us get into the last segment here of our satsang, and that is our guided global sound healing meditation. And we like to talk a little bit about that before we actually go into the meditation, because we incorporate heart-brain coherence. We incorporate that with our sound. And we like to talk about the heart-brain coherence. But before we do, just a shout out to Heart Math, because they've done all the research to let us know that when our brains and our hearts are in coherence, the electromagnetic field around our heart expands.
It's so interesting these days that on a level, all the mystic masters have talked about the power of the heart. They've talked about wisdom and compassion working together, but now we have science showing us that this is real. People believe it. It's not an interesting phenomenon. Regardless, we're going to be working with a sonic global sound healing experience, and this month we're going to be doing the Om again. We like the Om a lot. I think last month we did the hum and these seed syllables. It doesn't much matter if the intentionality is there. And once again, Andi, in the guided meditation, will be leading you through a heart-brain coherence, coupled with a guided global Om, and we'll be doing about 9 of these. So we want to ask you to please join in with the band and sound, because even though we may be seemingly separated, you're on one end, viewing this, and we're on another end viewing it. We are interconnected. We are one. The separation is an illusion of same sort of illusion that time and space are in the higher planes. Everything is in a quantum level of just being in one place. So please do join us, Andi.
And I want to mention too that when our heart and our brain are in coherence, the way that happens is through positive thoughts. And so I'll be guiding everyone through kind of opening up to positive energy and also breathing, the way in which we're going to be breathing at the beginning. I'll be guiding you through that. And just remember to stay in your comfort zone with your voice when we do get to the portion where we will sound forth with the Om. And
just recently we came across a reminder that putting your hand or just touching your heart is also another nice way of activating the heart energy and all that stuff. So there are all these, it's so great that as a global consciousness, we are becoming more and more aware of the power of intentionalized sound coupled with love and wisdom. What a blessing.
And after the meditation, we'll have a moment of silence as we're all kind of coming back to conclude.
So don't forget to join in. And we say, Russell, sir, please take it away.
The purpose for this meditation is to project a sound encoded with the energies of light and love, and project healing to the Gaia matrix, our beloved planet Earth. We will first create coherence between our heart and our brain. This effect will further be amplified by the power of the Om, that you will be toning along with later, bringing more light and love into your body, mind, and spirit for health and wellness. And now, begin to focus on your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly breathing in and out. And as you're breathing in and out, imagine or visualize that you're breathing in and out through your heart. As you're breathing in and out through the area of your heart, remembering that it is love that breathes each breath, and it is love that causes each beat of our heart. Continue breathing slowly, breathing in and out in this manner. And now, I'd like you to call to mind something that has brought you a great deal of appreciation, gratitude, something that you are feeling very good about. This might be an experience with another person. Perhaps it's a beautiful sunset. It may be a beloved pet, a spouse. But it is something that has brought you loving kindness and gratitude and appreciation. And as you're breathing in and out through your heart, feeling this appreciation, feeling this gratitude, you're creating a beautiful coherence between your heart and your brain. And your heart, through this coherence, is expanding, getting larger and larger, and connecting with all the heart and loving energy on our planet in this moment. This is just a wonderful way of creating a very powerful heart activation, and you'll be amplifying this with the sound of the Om. Continue breathing slowly and deeply while feeling appreciation and gratitude, and imagining your breath going in and out through your heart. Now, visualize this energy and begin to sense a radiant light around you that is permeating every cell of your body and resonating your heart chakra. In a moment, we'll begin to gently sound forth with the power of the Om. And as you do this, visualize the planet Earth as a holographic image floating in front of you. Imagine bathing the Earth in a healing field of light and love that you are creating through your sacred sound. Now, let us begin to make the heart sound of the Om, bringing the energy of global harmonization, peace, and healing to our beloved planet, Earth. Now, being in silence, visualizing all the light and love through sound that you have manifested, resonating and bringing to earth and yourself to a deep state of healing. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and know that you have contributed to personal and planetary healing.
Thank you all.
Welcome back. And thank you all so much for being with us tonight for our May Sound Satsang.
We're grateful for all of you who contributed to this global sound healing experience, shifting the vibrations. I am thoroughly convinced that our planet is really in need of some frequency shifting, some mandatory and powerful frequency shifting, and we are certainly contributing to that. So thank you so very, very much. And really want to thank also for the people who helped the co-creative effort of this, including Alex Sims and
Nasiri, who is the director of Shaw. We want to thank the Sound Healers Association for sponsoring our Satsang, and of course, Humanity's team, and Russell
Casado.
Thank you
so much.
He is that man behind the curtain.
I want to do a shout out to my niece, Kim, who's been such a great support for us for these Sound Satsang. So she's there, and all of you, just thank you so much for being. Next month, whoa, drum roll. Next month is going to be the second anniversary of these Sound Satsangs.
We started on the solstice, on the summer solstice. Well, it will be now a couple years ago. So we have been doing this once a month, and we'll continue to do this once a month. And we hope that you all will continue to join us, because we really appreciate being able to spread the healing sounds.
And it'll be on June 20th at 8 p.m., which is the time of the solstice. And the focus of attention also is going to be on fields of sound. What are fields of sound? Find out, tune in then. It's an important aspect. We trust that this introduction to Shama El, the Angel's sacred sound, has been a good one. We trust that you've enjoyed the resonance of the vibratory fields that we co-create together as much as we have, and we give thanks.
We give thanks, and thank you all, each one of you, for being with us tonight.
So we'll see you next month, and keep lots of love, light, and sound in
And-
your hearts.
And remember, we heal the planet,
We heal ourselves
we heal ourselves,
and we heal the planet.
we can make a difference.
And we have a choice.
Lots of love to everyone and many blessings of love and light through sound. Until we meet again, thank you.
Bye-bye now.